Good morning, All Saints. It's Thursday morning, the 24th of September. Earlier this week, I was out very early in the morning when it was still dark outside and had the dog out with me. And as she was sniffing every inch of the yard, I looked up, and there, as reliable as could be this time of year, was Mars. And on the opposite side of the sky was Venus, and somewhere on Mars's side, though I couldn't see it, was the planet Uranus. And it took me back to earlier days when I lived elsewhere, when there was less ambient light than there is here, and I would be out very early, either running or walking the dogs, and I would be surrounded by this canopy of stars, and I would always found that to be so comforting and a wonderful time for me to have a time of prayer. Well, when you live near a big city, you don't get so much of that, and so I was really glad for that reminder earlier this week that the heavens do declare the glory of God, as the psalmist wrote in Psalm 19. And the comforting thing about that is that the world can swirl and COVID can swirl, and yet God is still with us. And this morning, I pray that you will all have a sense that God is with us as we watch what unfolds in Louisville, what has unfolded following the killing of Breonna Taylor by police officers. It is clear in this country that there are two systems of justice, and it's one that applies to white people and one that applies or doesn't apply, in this case, in my opinion, to Black folks. But it's very clear that in Breonna's case, she was killed in her bed. Her boyfriend only knew that someone was trying to break into their home and tried to protect them. And yet she ends up dead, and the charges are because an officer fired through the wall of a neighboring apartment. I want to encourage us all to try to understand the rage that comes following such a devaluation, consistent, ongoing, year after year devaluation of Black life in this country. I know that it's easy to say, look at why do they burn down their neighborhoods and they shouldn't be so violent and all of that. And at the same time, the rage has to go somewhere until we address it. And I commit myself to doing the anti-racist work, not just in my head and in my heart, but in the streets, in the systems of justice, and the structures and the systems that continue to perpetuate racism in this country. So I'm very glad that God reigns. God is in God's heaven. God is with us right now in the face of every single person, in the life of every single person whose life doesn't seem to matter in this country. So, my prayer today is that we will all commit ourselves anew to this work. I hope that tomorrow and the weekend ahead go well for you. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday morning, either virtually or in person if you have registered. And then we're having a picnic in the afternoon, some time to be together to show our love for one another as we should. Blessings to you and all those you love this day.